For those who neglect their textbooks all through the year, exams turn into a nightmare. With the exams around the corner, you need to fit a week's or a year's worth of syllabus into a few days or even just one night. So, you start cramming all of them. Studying for 12 hours or 14 hours a day is very unhealthy, yet we still force ourselves to study almost all day in the days before our exam to finish our syllabus. But the important thing is how much you studied, not how long you studied. Although it's a bit difficult to cover all the syllabus in just a handful of days. But nothing is impossible. I'll share you a few tips that can make your long study sessions the most effective and help you concentrate the most. First, planning is everything. When you've only got a few days to deal with the job in hand, you need to make the most of it. Don't go into a blind revision frenzy. You'll get much more done if you break it up and work out exactly what you need to know rather than just blindly cram any old info. Spend a few minutes to create a study plan that allows you to learn continuously. Before you schedule your study list for the day, divide your subjects into 3 categories. Memory-dependent subjects, which contain a lot of material that need to be memorized, like biology, history, and geography. Problem-solving subjects, such as mathematics and physics. Interpretation-based subjects, such as English and literature papers from other languages. Then, decide which subjects you currently feel the most confident, moderately confident, and the least confident. After that, break your subjects into topics. Focus the majority of your effort on topics most likely to come up in the exam and carry the most marks. Then, start with subject you know you can accomplish. This will give you more motivation for the rest of the day. Make sure the next slot is something heavier so you don't put off your worst subjects until the end. Also, don't forget to alternate between each category of subjects in long study periods. It's more effective to study multiple subjects each day than to deep dive into 1 or 2 subjects. Because you're likely to confuse similar information if you study a lot of the same subject in one day. So, study smart, spread out your study time for each subject. By doing so, your brain will have more time to consolidate everything. Cramming 5 or 3 days before works well because you have just enough time for spaced repetition in your studying. Continue your study session on the first 4 days, and 2 days for 3-day plan. Try to memorize as much as possible, and leave your last day to review what you've studied. If you have time between one subject after another, just divide the topics of your subject and leave the day before exam for review or recap. And if you have only 1 day left before the exam, don't panic. You can prepare for a test in 24 hours, but you've got to be strategic about how you approach the material. Start this study session as early in the days as you can. Start at the beginning. Don't focus on the little details. Read the chapter summaries. If there are no chapter summaries, then skim through the text and write down key ideas. Get down to the nitty-gritty and only study what you think is worthy of being on the test. Focus on the main ideas and learn key formulas. Skip the details for now and only come back to them if you see that you have time after you have learned the key points. Don't attempt to learn everything. Focus on things that will get you the most points on the exam. If you can, test yourself by practicing at least one past exam question. Reading the chapters and highlighting important portions help a lot, but studies have shown that your brain is under-challenged when reading and highlighting. So don't just highlight your words and start taking your own notes. As you go through your notes, find important definitions, concepts, and equations. When you write down the important points you read in your own words in a piece of rough paper or your notebook, it helps you retain information even more. Read important points aloud and write them down after. This makes sure that you don't just see the points, but you hear them and write them too. Proper note-taking is very important for effectively completing the syllabus at the last minute. I want to share you 2 note-taking methods that work the best, the SQ5R and Cornell methods. SQ5R has 7 steps: survey, question, read, record, recite, review, and reflect. First, overview or skim through the textbook and mark important areas. Next, turn the headings and subheadings into questions. Then, go through the text again and record important points in your own words separately. You don't need to read the whole chapter. Only read enough to answer your question. Then, record what you read and listen. Record summary of every chapter. Read the question out loud and consider what you want to remember. Ask yourself the questions you noted and see if you can answer them properly. Repeat the above steps and reflect the topic you learned till it's completely memorized. Cornell Notes is an effective 3-column configuration of taking notes which makes memorizing and recalling information much easier. 30% of width should be kept in the left column while the remaining 70% for the right column. The smaller column on the left side is for questions about the notes that can be answered when reviewing and keywords or comments that make the whole reviewing and exam preparation process easier. When revising, one can easily cover the right column and try to answer the questions on the left, and a brief summary of every page should be written into the section at the bottom. This cuts down time for reviewing and enables to absorb information in a shorter time. Before the exam, keep your body and brain well fueled by choosing nutritious foods that have been proven to aid concentration and memory, such as fish, nuts, seeds, yogurt and blueberries, and make sure you keep drinking plenty of water throughout your revision, and also on the exam day. Have a good night's sleep the night before your exam and review all your notes once right before going to bed. When you go to sleep, your brain will work on those notes and questions. In the morning, as soon as you wake up, go over the questions that you find difficult. Right before you go into the exam room, review those harder questions again, so they are right inside your working memory. But they're going to fade fast, so as soon as you get the test, write those facts down on the back of the test right away, then take the test and refer to what you have written. If you've forgotten to revise something, you can't do anything about that now. It's better to go in full of confidence and just do your best. After the exam, don't recall what you have written in exam and check your answers. You must need to move on and to study for the next exam. Let bygones be bygones and just focus on your next exam. The exams are getting very close, so any study you do now is incredibly valuable. So, I hope these tips will help you make the most of your study time and get better grades. So keep calm, take a deep breath and just give your best shot.